welcome to the live freelance Q&A. My name is Julia Masalska, like so. Feel free to follow me on Instagram. This is where I'm mostly sharing my insights as a freelance designer. So thank you so much everybody for joining, who just joined. Hopefully there will be some more people because we are going to be talking about some really exciting things happening right now in the design industry. We have HAWRAF who just published their Google Drive. It's an agency, I believe, New York based, and they have published so much information for everybody to share in terms of design pricing and their administrations, how they operate with existing businesses, how they get new business. So we are going to be taking a look at that today, and we're going to kind of compare this from an agency perspective to also a freelancer like myself who works by themselves, and what the differences there are, and how basically what's the difference of charging clients working with agency in comparison, working with me as a single freelancer. Hi Lamont, cool, good to see you. Yes, I'm so excited. If you guys want to take a look at this, meanwhile, let me quickly share my my work screen with you, and I'm going to show you how you can find the link. So you can go onto Instagram, and I'm going to show you guys how to find the link on my profile. So this is my Instagram page, and here you will find the milkshake link, and under this milkshake link, the first link will be HAWRAF Drive link. Ooh, that's weird. Let me quickly change this up for you guys, but I'm going to also send you the link in the YouTube comments so you guys can follow me, because this is such an amazing resource, and it just recently came out. So hi Yasin, good to see you. And we have Gianfilippo and OOTV or something like that. Good to see you guys. So I'm so excited to share this with you guys and like talk about this and see how crazy the differences are between working as a freelancer and what agencies actually charge. So let's take a look at this. This is the folder they have shared. So it's divided into different folders: administrative, new business, operations, studio stuff, potential, and active. And also there's a little legal file, basically for you to read that they're not responsible for any information that you get from the drive, and that they're not legal advisors. So hi everybody, thanks for joining. We're just taking a look at the HAWRAF agency drive that's recently been published, and we're going to get some amazing insights into agency work and how agencies charge, how they operate, and so on. So let's go step by step. Let's start with administrative. Let's take a look at what they have here, what type of documents they have here. And meanwhile, also feel free guys to ask questions in the chat. So I have a mosquito here. Oh, I got it. Yo. That's kind of gross. Okay, so meanwhile, feel free to ask questions. Hi, Mohammed and Philippe are joining. Thank you so much. Cool. Why is this not loading? Okay, let me quick click it again. Administrative. Okay, so we are taking a look at HAWRAF public folders that they just published. By the way, they didn't go broke, they just decided to do something else, and they were actually a really successful agency. So let's take a look at their things here, what they have, and it's so amazing. I shared the link in the chat, guys. Feel free to open it and look at that. And Lamont is saying that was awesome. Yeah, the mosquito killer. Oh my god, Julia, the mosquito killer. Let me make myself a little bit bigger because I'm like sitting in the corner. I'm in the corner. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at the different folders. Let's take a look first at accounting. How do they do their accounting? For us, those are things that they will never teach you in design school, because it's not really, they don't see that it's relevant for you to make money with design. What is relevant for them is to give you the design knowledge, right? So you become a good designer, but then you go into the open world and you don't have no idea whatsoever how to price yourself, how to communicate with the client, how to handle feedback, all those things are things that we are actually learning in the real world instead of learning in school. So let's take a look at this. We have balance sheet, we have expenses, pricing. Let's take a look at pricing first, because I think that's something that totally blew my mind. So let's take a look at that. And here we have this sheet that basically shows their pricing. And I mean, take a look at this. Take a look at this. Hopefully, I don't know if I can zoom in here. But as you can see, there are already a lot of people looking at this because this is amazing. So, brand identity pricing, kickoff, discovery, and strategy. Basically, you're talking to the client, finding out what they need. You are, doing some research, and you're putting a strategy together for them to develop their business, right? So, it doesn't even have to do with design, not nearly. And that will take the agency 1 to 2 weeks, and the budget for that, what they need is $5,000. So $5,000 just for doing some research, talking to the client, getting some insights, and putting together a brand strategy for them. Then the actual brand and visual identity is from 25 to 50K plus. So guys, I guess this company has also been working with like huge clients like, I don't know, McDonald's, Fisher Price, Johnson & Johnson probably. So this brand and visual identity would take them 6 to 8 weeks, and they would charge 25 to 50K plus. So this was such a mind-blowing thing for me. And as you can see, their numbers are all so rounded. It's like, it almost sounds like the numbers are made up, so it was crazy to me. And then we have brand strategy. So here at the top, we probably don't even have the strategy really included, probably just like a draft of a strategy. And here we have the actual brand strategy, 1 to 2 weeks, $7,000. Then important things that every single brand needs: brand voice and messaging, because not only the visuals of a brand, but also the voice and the messaging, the way you basically communicate with the client is everything. Because let's say you have the nicest packaging and the beautiful colors, but you just will not attract the right audience to your product by using copy that's not suited for them. You need to use their the way they talk, the way they kind of communicate with each other. You also need to use the right channels to communicate with your clients. So I believe in these things, brand voice and messaging, this is where they're trying to figure out how to talk to the client. Brand voice and tone guidelines. Tone guidelines can be something where you basically work out how to communicate with someone, what to tell them, and what type of tone of voice you're talking with them to. So let's say I'm talking to my mom. I'm talking to my mom differently than I'm talking to my friend, and I'm talking to my grandfather differently than I'm talking to my mom, right? So and I'm talking to a stranger completely different than I'm talking to a friend of mine. So this is where you kind of specify how you talk to the specific clients that this brand is targeting. Cool. Thanks everybody for joining. Part is here and Karamjit is here. Good to see you guys. Yes, Felipe, you're right. Professors never teach this, and they will not do that because it can vary so much, and also it varies from country to country. So in schools, basically you get the basic knowledge. You never learn about pricing, but here you have the whole pricing sheet for an agency. For me personally, I am not going so much into depth just because I don't have the resources. I'm just one person, so I could go ahead and outsource some of the work. Let's say I could outsource some of the research. I could, let's say, hire 2 or 3 people, go around a specific store. Let's say I'm designing something for for clients that love organic products, and then I would go send 2 or 3 people to an organic store and I would pay them money. I would outsource this work, and I will make them do some research for me, and I would make the client pay for me. So this is basically what agencies do. They do some very, very wide research, broad research, and that's the reason why they can charge so much for these things. As you can see, kickoff discovery strategy 5,000 and brand visual strategy 25k to 50k plus. So depending on the size of the project, I mean, I can understand why they charge so much, because they will need a lot of people to do all of that. They will need a lot of people to put it together. They will need a lot of time to get tons of insights, to do questionnaires, to invite people, to really understand how they're using certain products. So I do get it. Now let's talk about concept sprint. I believe this is something, sprints have been so popular recently. A sprint is basically, there is also an awesome book for that called The Design Sprint. Let's quickly take a look at that. It's all about kind of developing an idea of design sprint book. Yeah, there we go. This is it. So the book, it's called just Sprint. So sprint basically is, if you are inviting a company for, like, let's say a week of a workshop. It's basically like a workshop that you do with the client. It can be a team from the company. And hi everyone who joined. Thank you so much for joining. Zoom on your screen. Yeah, I would love to, but I'm a little shy, so I'd rather stick here in the corner. And I also want to show you guys the pricing that agencies charge for design. So please bear with me here. So a sprint is basically like a quick turnaround branding research project that you do with a company, and it usually takes place in a form of a 5-day workshop where the designer or the sprint organizer comes together with a team from a company to figure out what their needs are. And a sprint is something really, really cool, and it's been really, really popular here. Deck of concepts, 1 round, 2 rounds, 3 rounds. Again, we have really rounded pricing here, so I'm guessing they're just estimating. And because I mean, if you're working in an agency, you really do have to estimate, because the price, the salaries for the people, the things the money you're gonna spend on doing research can really vary. So I'm thinking that's the reason why they're kind of really, really rounded here. Marketing, concepting, deck of concept, messaging, strategy will take them under 1 month, so 1 to 2 weeks, and that will be $45,000, which I think, whoa, this is crazy. I mean, it's insane. But I guess for large corporations, this is no money really. So again, what I want to tell you guys with this is that pricing always depends on the client. Right? So if somebody comes up to me and asks me, hey Julia, can you make me a logo? I will have to do some research. I will have to figure out who this client is. Sometimes I go on Instagram, or I go onto their social media, and I see how much they have already invested in their business. How much responsibility am I going to carry designing a new logo for them? Because if it's a completely new business, I have zero responsibility, right? What can go wrong? They don't have nothing now, and if I create something, it will always be better than nothing, right? So creating a completely new branding has way less, let's say, risk, because first of all, you barely have any brand research that you can base on, so that you can you basically have to start from scratch, right? So yeah, wait, let me see if you guys have Felipe is saying voice, if you need to hire a professional voice actor, it seems to be quite expensive. That's not it. That's not that's not what voice is about. I think voice is more about how you communicate with someone. Anyway, so what I want to say is, when people ask me, Julia, how do you charge your clients? It always depends on the client. It really, really depends on the client. And doing research on their social media, on their website, on the existing content that they have can be really, really helpful to determine. Also, your location makes a big difference. So if somebody from India asks me, hey, what do I charge for branding to my clients? I always tell them, go and ask your peers, go and ask other designers what they charge, and do your research, ask people. I don't think people will, tell you like, no, I'm not talking about my pricing. And if they don't, you can also send them a request asking for a brand design and just ask them, hey, I need a branding, what do you charge for that? You can do that, but don't tell anybody. So there's different ways to do your research on pricing. You can also ask different people. You can also ask an agency, you can ask a freelance designer, and so on, to see the differences, because the client does experience those differences. If they go to an agency, they know they will have to pay a shit ton of money, and if they go to a person, to a freelancer, Hi Ali Raza, good to see you. Hi, I hope you're doing great. Yeah, I'm doing great. As you can see, I'm staying busy, but I am doing really great. Yeah, so pricing really depends on the location, on your experience level. Also, you should always compare your pricing to designers who are on the same experience level. I cannot tell my client to pay me 25K for a brand identity because I'm not an agency, and plus I don't have that much experience. They have designers who have been in the industry for 10, 15 years. I have 5 years of experience, so I cannot compare myself to this. I cannot charge my clients this type of pricing, obviously. But I can see kind of how that relates to my pricing, because some of the clients who come to me, they do come from an agency because they have been working with an agency before and they know how expensive it is. So if they've been working with an agency before, I can kind of put up my pricing just a little bit to, of course, be obviously way below what the agencies charge, but still I don't have to charge my regular pricing because they already made the experience, how they know how much the value of design is and how important it is. Because if they were working with an agency earlier, they value their brand, right? If they value their brand, they probably already have a lot built up, and they need someone really responsible for that. They need someone who goes very deep into detail. So that has nothing compared to like a next door shop or to my friends, I don't know, home cooking, food delivery service. So yeah, always see this in relation, and of course in relation to your country, what a business would spend for a branding, and that's how you can charge. Hi, so there's a question from Ali Raza. Should I have more clients or less clients but long term? That's a good question. I would say it depends on your personality. Do you prefer working long-term with someone or working long-term on a project? Or do you like those quick, short turnaround projects where you can finish something up and go on to the next thing? Because this is what I like to do. I like to work on a project, like, so let's say a branding project, and then send it over to people who are going to maintain it. For that, we have brand guidelines. Super, super important. When you're creating a brand for somebody, create a brand guideline, because the designer that comes after you, let's say doing their social media, they can mess it up completely. They can mess up the use of the logo, they can mess up the use of color, the use of imagery, and so on. So for that, you have a brand guideline that, let's take a look at examples of brand guideline. Let's take a look if we can find something. Brand guidelines. Here, contentharmony.com, 36 great brand guideline examples. So let's take a look at voice and tone. Let's take a look what we can find here. Okay, LinkedIn's brand guidelines. Let's take a look at that. Because imagine how many designers work in the LinkedIn company, and how many designers need to design new assets every single day for LinkedIn, right? So this is the use of the logo. Here, I believe this is Chinese. Don't get me wrong. I don't know how to read this, but this is the use of the logo. So here it says the logo needs to have a spacing of a certain amount. Then the copyright sign is used on the left side, on the bottom side, on the right side, and so on. Logo usage and so on. So this is something they have made public. Let's say this one is not very complex, but there are such complex guidelines that kind of go so much into depth. Let's take a look at Asana's brand guidelines. Where is it? Oh yeah, here. Press inquiries and brand guidelines. Oh, okay. Okay, so see brand guidelines. Let's take a look at Asana's brand guidelines. The logo, the use of logo, clear space, very important, because sometimes people, you know, they just want to put the logo on top of things, or they want to put things together too close. So, and then they are also using, showing how to use the colors of the logo, and importantly, logo don'ts. So create, you know, examples how to not use the logo. So let's say, do not use the Asana logo on a gradient, do not use a gradient inside the Asana logo, and refrain from using a grayscale version of the logo. Don't change the logo of our 3 dots. Okay, please don't use the 3 dots alone. So all those things you need to put into a brand guideline, right? And that also falls into the brand design category that I always charge for. I always produce a brand guideline for my clients that are, let's say, trying to scale their business. If it's just like somebody who comes with me with a $300 budget and I need to make a quick logo for them, then obviously there is no brand guidelines. But you always should try and get some brand guidelines for the client, because that's really beneficial for them, especially if their brand is going to scale for sure, if they are, you know, going to make money, or if they're already making money with their brand. Okay, so if you Google MailChimp brand guidelines. Okay, let's take a look at that. MailChimp brand guidelines. Let's take a look at those. Design and brand identity. There we go. Let's take a look. Hopefully this is the right side. Okay. Consistent and grounded. So here we have the tone of voice, right? From MailChimp, giving structure to creativity, consistent and grounded. These are all things that are relevant for the branding, because these are the things that will determine your decision making, using different colors, using different shapes, and so on, using imagery. Playful and expressive. That's also one of the very important key points. Expressions like this are really helpful for designers who have not developed a brand but have to create new assets. Our brand framework is made up of persistent and expressive elements which make room for creativity while maintaining visual harmony. Yeah, this is awesome. I think this is a really good visualization here as well. A refined icon. The Freddy icon has long been our brand's primary mark. So basically, brand guidelines help you understand what the brand is all about without nobody telling you, right? So the brand guidelines have to speak for themselves. The designer has to understand right away what MailChimp is all about. And this, I think this is, Lamont, this is a really great example, because it really goes into depth and really kind of defines the brand voice. A bold word mark, yes, awesome. Cooper Wright is our brand typeface. So here is the use of the typeface, can be dressed up and editorial or casual and approachable. Use of adjectives like this really helps to kind of understand the branding. This is a really amazing brand guideline. Let me send it to you guys on the chat. Let's see. Yes, Felipe is saying Nike logo $35, 90/60. Yes, it's insane. I heard about that too. I was recently listening to a book, Success Principles, and there they also talk about you know, pricing and so on. And yes, it's insane. Nike logo for $35 back then, and now this company is so large. But you never know, right? You never know if a company is going to blow up or not, if the product is going to be accepted. Ali Raza is asking, may you teach how to make brand guidelines? Ali Raza, just take a look at this brand guideline that I just sent the link into the chat. Take a look at the brand guidelines and take a look what exactly they define, right? Just find the scheme of the brand guideline. Here we have functional colors, brand colors, accent colors, and we can do a YouTube video soon on that to kind of show you guys how to make a little bit less complicated version of this, because this is very defined, and you know, not all brands have everything that much defined. Like MailChimp is a pretty large company, so but this is actually pretty short for you know, for the detail that they go into. Usually brand guidelines, sometimes brand guidelines can be huge books like this large. I think it was Chanel or something. Chanel has huge brand guidelines, and although their brand is so minimalistic, you know, translating the websites and translating all their brand elements into different countries can also require different brand guideline books for different countries. So let's say if we have, you know, our regular typefaces used here, we read from left to right and from top to bottom, but in the Arabic countries, let's say they read from right to left, and so the whole brand guideline has to be adapted to the needs of the client, to the, you know, requirements in that specific country. Anyway, let's go back to HAWRAF's Google Sheets. So we went through the pricing here just a little bit. A visual design, environmental graphics, 30,000, not bad. A packaging design, I do that a lot, 25,000. I know it is very expensive. It can be very expensive. Also, depending, of course, on the SKUs, so shelf keeping units, how many, let's say if we have a vitamin brand, how many bottles with different designs on it are they going to be? So that kind of really depends. I can't really say for myself I charge this and this much, but what I do say is I charge for the branding, I charge for the initial concept of the packaging, and then the different SKUs kind of come from that initial packaging scheme that I have created for them. So basically like a skeleton of information, and then every additional SKU costs this and this much. So, and then it's easy for them also to come back to you and add another SKU, add another vitamin bottle, add another label, and so on, using the skeleton that I have already created for them. Okay, so that's why I never said like, I don't have a list like this for my own projects, because my clients just vary so much. They all have a different budget, different requirements, and working as a freelancer always kind of you need to pay attention to the details, to what exactly the client needs. You need to be able to account your time, account your efforts, and account your responsibility to the project. So that always is kind of like a very thin line that you need to learn, you know, to. And nowadays I have been working as a freelancer for like 5 years now, and nowadays when somebody reaches out to me and they have certain things they want done, I do my quick research and I already know what to charge them. You know, I kind of have certain classifications that I put for myself, not literally, but in my head I kind of put companies into the amount of, you know, work they're doing, into the size and so on, into their social online presence. Thank you so much, Ali Raza. My earrings look beautiful. Yeah, I love them. They're like little faces. Super cool. All right, website design. We have website design only, 2 to 3 weeks, 35,000. Not bad. Non-e-commerce website. Okay, so this can be a very complicated design probably. The design, this is probably already the code of a non-commerce website, 8 to 10 weeks, and this is probably the code and the design for an e-commerce website, 70 to 150K. Speaking engagement, 2,000, showing up one day. Speaking engagement talk, 1,000 to 8,000. Yeah, I would say that's kind of like in our industry, similar in the Adobe environment. I know a speaking engagement is always like between, really depending on your experience, between $1,000 and $8,000. Yeah, cool. So I think this can be pretty accurate for like a regular design or mid-sized design agency. Now let's go back. We have looked at pricing. Now let's look at what else they are having. So they have their expenses listed up. They have their balance sheet. Let's take a look at the balance sheet. So once you have an agency running and you kind of have all these expenses and all these, okay, I guess this is not a lot of information here. This is just how much they have in their bank currently. So furniture and fixtures. Yeah. So this does not give us a lot of information, but let's take a look at other administrative things, or new business. Let's take a look at what they do to get new business, or what kind of files we can find here. Capabilities, competition, discovery call. This is awesome. All right, let's take a look at this. So discovery call basically covers the questions or the things you learn about the client in the first conversation. Discovery questionnaire. I have created one of those as well in one of my past videos. I will try and link it above if somebody's rewatching it. But where is the Excel sheet? Yeah, Aliraza, I posted it earlier. It's at the top of the chat. Make sure to check it out. And I will also post it into the info box in case somebody's rewatching this. All right, let's go through HAWRAF's discovery questionnaire. Super awesome. They have some really great questions. I already took a look at that, but don't feel shy to kind of modify those questions to your own needs, because every client is different and you won't be asking all the same questions, dryly ask questions. It's more of like building a conversation. These questions help you to get the conversation going, or to start it, or to kind of get the client going, sharing about their work. So the discovery questionnaire is divided into certain fields. The first field is about and team. So you are trying to figure out who is the person you're talking to, what is their role. Exactly, that is so important to figure out first, because you will need to know who you're talking to. Do they have the decision making? Are they going to be the ones deciding about the design, about the finances of the project? Or are they just there to figure out if you're the right agency for them? So depending on who this person is, what their role is in the company, this is the way you're going to ask questions, right? How long have you been in the company? That will show how much experience do they have. Maybe there's somebody who has been in the company way longer, and that might be the better person to ask questions relating to the whatever more specific fields of the brand. How long has the company been around? What's the story? You do want to know that, because if the company has a specific story, so let's say recently I saw a company that's called the 2114ers or 5014ers, and it's a very specific story that they put into their branding, and it has to do with hills in Colorado. So there are I think 49 hills that are 15 miles, that go 50 miles up or something like that, 14 miles up. So so there's a specific story behind the brand, and usually the brand wants to incorporate the story into their designs. So that will already be a building stone for you to build upon, to include into your design process, to kind of show that you're deeply understanding the story and the heritage of the brand. Especially if they're brands that have been there for like decades, it's important to understand their story, how they've been developing, and so on. How big is your team? What does the team look like? Also very interesting to know. Any other stakeholders or decision makers? See, they're trying to figure out who is making the final decisions, right? Is it this specific person or is it a team of people? What will their input look like? That will determine how are you going to communicate with them. Are you going to be very are you going to be talking to just one person, or are you going to be talking to the whole team? Are you going to be how are you going to be communicating with them? Who is basically in charge and who is going to be talking to you? All right. How have you worked with vendor studios in the past? Here they're trying to figure out their past experiences. Maybe they have some bad experiences with other studios that this studio can kind of make better and work upon and prove that they're the better solution for them. So this is also a very interesting question to figure out what they're basically allergic to. So let's say they will tell them, oh yeah, we've worked with this agency and they've upcharged us so much and they were never there for us. So now they will be looking for the opposite in you as the designer, right? Or as the agency. For me, I'm kind of feeling like I'm the agency because I'm wearing multiple hats and I'm doing the job of different people. But I will be the person, I will be the one to try to prove them that I can do it better than the other agency. Okay. Then goals and challenges. What have you done so far? What has worked? What hasn't? Yeah, this is also a good question. It's not asking, hey, so what is your brand lacking, right? You're not specifically asking, why is your brand so shitty? But you're more asking what has worked for you, what have you done so far to to improve your presence, to achieve certain goals, and what hasn't worked. So then the client can go into depth what they have done so far and what experiences they had, and they will share their experiences, and that will also be a good key point to go off when you start with a new brand strategy, because you will at this point you will figure out what has not worked for them. This is very important because those insights can really help you to find a new way to approach things, right? Cool. Luis is here. Hi from Portugal. Hi, good to see you. Thank you so much. Kamal is asking, how can we get those questions filed? I'm going to send you the link. So the link that we're looking at today is a HAWRAF drive, which has been published, which has been made public, and it's such a treasure. Honestly, I'm so happy to be able to be part of this happening, and it's happening right in between of my career. I'm really happy about that, because for the past 10 years probably nobody knew how to charge for design services, and this is pricing that has been published, or pricing and all the other information that has been published by an agency that has been closed down, not for financial reasons, but for the reasons that they wanted to take a different approach, or they wanted to change direction, they wanted to do something else. But they were actually really successful, and these are basically their folders. They're shared with the public, free to use, and feel free to check that out. Hi Manu, joining us from India. Awesome. Cool. We were taking at the discovery questionnaire, right? Let's take a look at that. Let's continue taking a look at that. So what are your challenges? We basically figure out what the team is, what their responsibilities are, who you're talking to, how you're talking to them, what has been their experience with other studios. Then now we're going into the branding, basically trying to understand what has worked for them, what hasn't worked for them, what are the challenges. So a challenge might be, for example, we want to attract a new audience to our brand, right? Right now we're concentrated on the young audience, but we also want to include the older folks, and we want to communicate more in a general kind of more broad way. And so So they're trying to figure out basically what the challenges are here. What are you trying to communicate? This is also a really good question. What is the communication of the brand? What is the main purpose? What is the deep meaning of the brand? So let's take an example. Let's take as an example, let's take Apple, right? So Apple's approach is not just to produce computers or produce really good looking phones. They're not that good looking, honestly. Their approach was initially with Steve Jobs was to make computers accessible to the regular household so that everybody could have a personal computer at home. That was their approach. And also another approach, that was the approach in the beginning, but then the approach was, you know, the simplicity of technology, right? To show the minimalism, the simplicity, the ease of use, the user friendliness of technology, and that technology doesn't have to be intimidating and complicated, right? So that's basically their approach. Their main approach is to make technology accessible for people, right? And to also to have fun using technology. And here we're trying to figure out what the main aim of this brand is. So let's say it's a vitamin brand. They would say something like, we would like to prolong the lives of older people, or we would like to bring health to families, or we would like to teach people who don't know how to live healthy how to do so. So there can be like a main purpose of the whole brand that mostly every single brand has, because you know, creating a product always has some kind of purpose, right? So let's say I'm Julia Maselska and I love to help freelancers, and that's the reason why I'm doing this. I'm not getting paid for this right now, right? I'm sharing this knowledge with you guys because I like doing this, and I have not learned these things in school. I had to learn these things by myself in real life, and I want to make it easier for you. That's my approach, right? As a business also. But I still can have a product. I still can have products that I can sell and so on. But my main purpose is this. All right. Okay, let's see if we have any questions. Ali Raza is asking, what freelance website is your favorite or you suggest? Freelance websites, there is Upwork, I believe. My favorite is, I can show you that, but I think it's only US based. It's called creativecircle.com. So here you can have clients. Are we clients? Hiring can be easy. No, talent. I'm talent. So here you basically select your area. So let's say I'm from Chicago and I'm looking for design and art direction. Find a job. And the site is really amazing because they're really working on a very personal level. So whenever you apply for a job and you kind of get accepted, first you go through this agency process. Secondly, it's really good for freelancers. So let's say I have here Chicago design art direction, senior designer. Secondly, they're offering freelance jobs that are more like duration through end of the year. So you will work on a project that's a couple months at least, usually. So here they're hiring for projects that are a little bit bigger. And I have also friends who have worked with companies like Dropbox. So they're really working with huge companies, and there's a lot of opportunity there. So my friend, let's say she was working through Creative Circle for Dropbox as a contractor. And that was in San Francisco, super cool. And then suddenly she was in this job position where she also got to meet the team. She got a lot of insights from the company, and in the future she can say, I have worked with Dropbox and I know these and these people, you know. So that can be really helpful if you're also looking for a short-term full-time job or a part-time job, or simply working on a project. So there are different project opportunities here. I love that. Then there is AngelList, I believe. I think it's written like this, angellist.com. No, this is, I think it's AngelList then, or what? Startup jobs, recruit, invest. Yes, startup jobs. There we go. So here, this is also a pretty good site. I think this is more suited towards like UI UX designers. At least that's what I got the vibe from it. Here you can find a job, and then you have to like sign in, create your account, and there are tons and tons and tons of jobs. So it's really, really amazing. Then a little bit, you know, these are all pretty good sites. So they're sites for if you want to find a job that's a little bit bigger, let's say not just a logo design job, but a branding job. But if you want to do like those really quick things, I think in the beginning of your career, it's cool to do short-term projects. So let's say just make a logo, you know, where you can practice, right? And for that, Upwork.com. There we go. So Upwork is a site where I know that some of the creatives who are just starting out, you know, getting some jobs from, but I'm personally not using it. I'm personally getting my work from Behance. So I have people reaching out to me through Behance, through my Behance portfolio. And I almost have, so if you have a good amount of nice project here, if you're featured here in different categories, it can help you get jobs, really, because people look on Behance. And here they are also able, so let's say I'm going to discover and I'm going to see this girl, Anastasia Lee, right? I can see that this girl has been such a great designer, and she has so many badges, and she has the Adobe Choice Award 2019 for Adobe Photoshop. She looks super professional, and it can save her as a candidate. So she's from Minsk, Belarus, and I can go onto her portfolio. Let's see if she has a portfolio here. So you have the opportunity to create a Adobe portfolio, which is super, super cool. I can show you how that works. So you create a profile on your Behance. Then, of course, I think that works with Creative Cloud subscription. So if you have the Creative Cloud subscription, you can create your Adobe portfolio. Here I can edit my Adobe portfolio, right? Adobe portfolio is basically a website, a personalized website that is using the data that you put on your Behance. So it uses the projects you have on your Behance to create a personal website for you. So my site is called masalska.myportfolio.com, right? And this is my site. This is a site that Adobe Portfolio creates automatically. You can create, you can select from different templates, and here you can have things like that. So you can, I also have this freebies page where I'm sharing my freelance contract. By the way, feel free to use that. I'm going just to put the link into the chat as well, so you guys can feel free to copy this. I am not, I don't feel myself responsible for you guys to use this, so I'm not a legal advisor, just saying, but this is a freelance contract that I use, so maybe you can use it for yourself as a template, maybe to, you know, to use. And here, so this is my site, and my site will always be updated by the projects that I put on my Behance portfolio. So if I add a new project, it's automatically appearing on my Adobe Portfolio site, and it's a more personalized version of your Behance. Here, this is more like a platform and everybody's sharing their project, right? But with Adobe Portfolio, you have your own link. Mine is masalska.myportfolio.com, and so will be yours. So you can determine your own website name, and it's free when you have the Creative Cloud subscription. So that's really awesome. Here you can adjust the projects that you want to show or you don't want to show. I'm also not showing all of my projects because I have some that are a little bit older and outdated, and I just don't want to show them. I want to present only my good stuff, right? So I have turned those off, but you can feel free to do whatever. So I can recommend you guys create an Adobe Portfolio, and I always get contact submissions through my Adobe Portfolio. This is how I get my clients currently, and I can only recommend, you know, making yourself a good online portfolio using Behance and Adobe Portfolio. That can be super, super helpful. Okay, Luis is asking, how can I improve my CV? That's a really good question. That's a really good question. How can you improve your CV? I would take a look at CV templates. What I do sometimes, sometimes I'm not even creating my own CV. I am going and getting a template and I'm just filling it out with my information. So because I'm lazy and I want to have something quick, and but sometimes I'm also taking a look. Let's say I'm taking a look at this CV here. This is a really cool looking CV, modern CV template, right? And I take a look at this and I design something similar to this in my Illustrator. So I take a look at the information that it says here. You can literally Google any CV you want. And there are also designer CVs that are specialized to the design job that you can create. But here you will see the main information, so that the main things that I have learned about CVs is that the education, you know, is important to show if you're just out of school, but your professional experience is the most important thing when you're already experienced, right? So if you already have an experience, let's say 1 or 2 years, write your experience first and then your education at the bottom, because this is, you know, less relevant in the end. And then put your most recent experience at the top and then going down to the past experience, right? And then your expertise, so write down what you're good at. I would write down specific software that you use. I'm just putting, you know, my iconography from, like, let's say Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign, and so on. So I would do that. But take a look at designer, or you can even go and look for graphic designer CV templates, even more specific. So let's take a look. This one looks really good to me. Look at that. That one looks amazing, actually. And where is it? So let's take a look at one of these. I'm hoping to find the one that I just saw earlier. That one looked really good. Here, this one. Look at this one. Look at this designer portfolio, right? You can create something similar. You can recreate this design and use the information that suits you and kind of adapt it to your needs. You don't necessarily need to pay, you know, for the template, because you are already a graphic designer and you can do it. You can find typefaces that are similar, and you can use similar information that it says here. This is my tip. This is how I would do it to save time, because there are already templates. There are already kind of, this is a good information hierarchy. So why would you reinvent the wheel? And this is also really great here. You have like main information on the left, and then you have the work experience on the right. That's also cool. Just find something that you like, that works for you, and create something similar. Or just use a template that works as well. All right, my friends, we were going through the docs of HAWRAF Discovery Questionnaire, and so let's continue going through the questions. Here we were going through the about. We were trying to figure out what are the different people that you're talking to, or you will be talking to, who will be responsible to give you feedback, and so on. And then we were trying to figure out the brand goals and challenges. What have you done? What are the challenges? What have not worked so well? What are you trying to communicate? And so on. What would you measure success? How would you measure success for this project? That's also very important. So will they measure it on you know, social media followers? Because if they measure it on social media followers, then, or if they measure it on sold products, that's also a different thing. You have to approach the project differently. This will be your focus. You will need to focus on how the client will see this project as successful, right? Then we have the general. Who are your primary and secondary target markets? Also very important information. This is basically the whole brand strategy, research. If they have done any, definitely need to ask for that in the first call, because if they don't have no research, that means that you will have to do your research. That means you cannot price them unless you know what your workload will be, right? You need to figure out what will be your job in this project to be able to work on their branding. So you will have to do some research before you jump into the project. Do you have an established brand, art direction, photography, and so on? Just trying to figure out, basically figuring out who do you have to do it with, what are you going to be working on, and what will be your workload, how will you measure your success, and what are the numbers. Basically, what are the numbers? What's the brand strategy? Who are you targeting? Are you attracting the right people? Do we need to change the route? Do we need to add some things, and so on? So tech stack. Do you have a domain? And if not, so basically those are tech questions that I also ask my clients. So let's say if they ask me, oh, I need to design a website. I need a website. There are so many ways to create a website online. So one can be using a template. One can be creating a completely new design and somebody will code it, or creating a completely new design and you will code it. So there's so many things, and you need to figure out what exactly they need. Do they have somebody who will code the website? Do you just need to do the visual of the site? How complex is the site, right? How many pages does it need? So all these things you're trying to figure out the pricing for the project, right? Hi, Jotirmia, good to see you. You're never late, no worries. Vanessa is here. Hi, good to see you. No worries. You can watch the replay. We were talking, Vanessa and Jotirmia, we were talking about this amazing drive that HAWRAF just published. It's their basically Google Drive. They closed their agency and they've published it to the public. It includes all the different paperwork that they have been doing. It includes, pricing. It includes all the different stuff. I'm going to post this into the chat again so you guys can take a look at that. We have been looking at the pricing, and we have been looking at their operations, what kind of client questionnaire they have. So this is what we were going through just now, discovery questionnaire. So these are the questions they ask a new client in the beginning and the discovery call. Kamal is asking which portfolio site link we can share on freelance sites. Whichever you like. If you have a personal site, use that. If you have an Adobe portfolio, use that. If you have a Dribble, use that. If you have a Adobe portfolio, use that. Just whatever you think works best for you. Also, a good thing on Adobe portfolio is that you can not only create one site for free, you can, I think, create up to 3 sites for free. So you can target different clients with each site. So let's say on one site, you will only publish the branding projects. On the other side, you will only publish the packaging projects. And on the third side, you will publish your illustration projects, because you will have different clients and they will all look for different things. And to make it easier for them to look through your projects, or to make it more specified to them, so they get a feeling that you're really, really into this specific field, you can create 3 portfolios. Yes, Vanessa, this is so amazing. And so we've been going through this discovery questionnaire and all the different questions. And also feel free to take a look at the video that I have created recently. It was a video about so it was a whole branding process. It's in my playlists on my channel. It's called, let me show that to you guys. So I have created a whole process for you to take a look at on my channel, where I am working with a real client and we're going from the beginning till the end. This is it. So playlists, branding process. This thing has 4 videos. The first video is client questionnaire, similar to what we just taking a look at from HAWRAF. My client questionnaire is a little bit different, but you will also find the questions underneath. So this is my client questionnaire right here. Right, so some of the questions are similar, some of the questions are a little bit more specific, because I am mostly working with branding and packaging clients, and I feel like HAWRAF had also a lot of retail clients and so on. So it's a little bit different, but here I have worked with a real client, and this series has 4 parts, from client questionnaire through design concepts through applying client feedback. So when I have delivered the first round of designs, applying the feedback that they gave me from the first round of revisions, then to project delivery. So if you really want to understand the branding project of me as a freelancer, take a look at that. All right, quick shameless self promo. All right, Jotermi is asking, how can we improve the way we present ourselves as a graphic designer or social media like Instagram? You know how I do it? I always look at designers that I admire, and I look at what they do to present themselves, right? So let's say I love Jessica Walsh. Jessica Walsh is like the power woman of the power women in the design industry in the US, right? I take a look at her approach. What does she do? She's posting a lot of these really cool images, a lot of very artsy stuff, right? A lot of color. So this is what I kind of want to, this is the concept that I kind of want to take for myself, right? I want to be more colorful. I want to present some of my work. I want to, you know, be a little bit, you know, maybe sometimes elegant, sometimes artsy, sometimes, you know, experimental. Sometimes I'm not showing myself, but I'm showing some weird things. I'm showing my typography right here, and so on. So take a look at designers that you admire and look at what they're doing with their social media, how they're presenting, how they're talking about themselves. Take a look at designers on TED. Guys, also a really cool site, TED.com. It's a really nice site to get inspirational talks. I really love to watch TED, especially in the morning with a little cereal. So let's say designer. I type in designer, right? Philip Stark, amazing designer from France. Check out how he's talking about himself, what he's doing, what he's thinking. So check out big designers, how they're, you know, representing themselves, and that will help you find a way to improve your own appearance, to improve your own positioning, and so on. What I have noticed is that designers, you know, good designers, they always take care, they always care about social matters. So Jessica Walsh will be the person who will be super resourceful about the Black Lives Matter movement and so on. So she will be engaging in social issues. So she will have Ladies Wine and Design Organization, which is a global organization that helps women get together and share their knowledge, and, you know, them all being designers, sharing their knowledge, empowering each other. One problem field, right? Here we have Black Lives Matter. So she will have very specific information. She will share a resource link. I remember she shared a resource link to support the movement, not just, you know, post something to kind of be shallow and to just post something about it. But she really goes into depth. Then let's talk about mental health. Her other page that she's maintaining for mental health issues, right? So she cares about the people. She shows that she's not just a designer. She's, you know, she cares about people. And that will make you, you know, a bigger person. That will make you a better person, I would say. I don't know. And that would also show that you're not just a designer. You go above and beyond about people. You understand people, and that's also a very important point. All right. Victor Freyer, great tip. Didn't know that TED has it. Yes, guys. TED Talks, if you're looking for inspiration, so cool. Watch, let's say, playlists. And then you will get so many interesting things. The most popular talks of all time, the art of being human. And here topics, or let's see, I remember there was also discover. I remember there was there was talks that were kind of organized by different feelings that they awake, or different themes. So let's say topics. Let's see, inspire. Let's say we're talking about India, right? Or we're talking about indigenous people, inequality, innovation. So you will find all these different topics here that are super cool, that I really love. Let's look for inspiring. Talks from inspiring teachers. Love that. All right, my friends, hopefully this was helpful so far. Take a look at the HAWRAF drive. I can really recommend you guys. This is a very unique opportunity. This does not happen every single day. This is a unique opportunity for us to learn from an agency. Agencies don't ever publish that stuff. So HAWRAF, my respect. I love this drive, and feel free to check this out. Take some things out for you as a freelancer, and we are going to repeat the series. We're going to talk about freelancing, and how to attract clients, and how to do some other stuff. I have some amazing questions. If you have any suggestions for future freelance Q&As, if you have any specific questions, drop them down below. I'm happy to cover those. Today we are kind of like we're going very specific into business structure, how to present yourself, how to improve your CV, how to improve your online presentation. So next time we're going to go more into depth into other topics. So hopefully guys, this HAWRAF link was so helpful for you, because I know for me it is. It's such an interesting insight. And of course, feel free to ask questions. You can ask questions. Don't feel shy to write to other designers and ask them what they've done, what is their focus, how are they pricing things. I believe every designer will be happy to share their knowledge, because we know we are all in this together. We have to learn this by ourselves. No school is teaching this, so we have to learn this by ourselves, and we need to kind of share the knowledge with each other. So never be secretive about your pricing. We all need to kind of level this all together, so that not one designer charges $5 and the other one $500 for the same exact thing. We all need to keep up our prices, and we all need to stick together so that our services will get valued. All right, my friends. Victor, the drive is shared in the link above. I have shared it. Feel free to click on that and you will get all that information. All right, my friends, I will see you guys for daily creative challenges in 20 minutes. I have to leave now. I will see you soon for another live freelance Q&A, and come back tomorrow, Friday, for portfolio reviews. We'll have some amazing portfolio reviews, and go onto my Instagram if you want to stay tuned on everything that I do. I will see you soon. Bye bye, my friends.